I'll just say like that. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, Limitless ladies. How are you today?
Well, I'm great.
Brunch.
I'm great. It's sunny outside, and I'm a tropical species. Like, I was born for the sun, for the tropics. So I've got my summer dress on. I'm very excited that it's sunny.
It's chilly up here in North Yorkshire, hence I've got my hot water bottle sat on me. He's been very needy. I went away this week. If you've been watching my social posts, I've been away in Spain, and he's very happy to have his mummy home. And he won't leave me out of my sight. Anyway, we've got some lovely new ladies here in the Limitless CEO group, and we should probably just do a really brief intro because I know loads of people know us, but you have to go first because I was totally thrown last week when I went first, so you go first.
Hang on, wait a minute, is my structure rubbing off on you?
Oh no, God, don't.
Oh. Sorry, Ali, what was that? You like structure? Okay. By the way, did everybody hear that? Because we're live on Facebook. Just by the way, also, did everyone get the memo for the red, white, spotty situation that we seem to have fallen into today?
I know,
this is not planned, but this is how I think in tune and connected we've become as a duo. We now complement each other with our wardrobes without even realizing it.
Love that.
All right, ladies, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, just massive welcome to the Limitless CEO community, our beautiful online home. I'm Em. I'm one half of the Limitless CEO duo, and my role within the business is to be the online business strategist and visionary brand creator. So I work with our clients for their bigger vision and where they want to grow their business to, and then help them to put in place a strategy and a plan and the structure and the systems and the step-by-step that's going to get them there, which is why I was just taking the mickey out of Ali, because she's all about the flow. Ali, go, flow.
Flow. So I'm Ali Mortimer. I am the other half of the Limitless CEO, and my role within the Limitless CEO and our business and helping our clients is that I am the mind master. I am the energetics coach, or as Em likes to call me, the chief shit shifter. I help everybody who comes into our world walk the path that Em has so beautifully laid out for you, whether that be a beautiful plan or a strategy or a vision. Because I don't know about you or anyone, the majority of people, when they start on a plan, they're going to get a wobble, or they're going to get a fear, or something in their life will knock them off that path. And that's what I'm here to do, to help you stay on the path in amongst the chaos. Stay on the path when you feel like you're going to wobble off, when you're frightened, when you're scared, when you've lost sight of where you're going. That's what I help you do. I lift you up and then keeps pulling you forward, and I've got you from behind. So
I love that. So if I'm the clarity in the chaos, and Ali is the confidence in the chaos, and together, thank you. I just came up with that on the spot. Are you impressed?
I'm super impressed. And actually that's really interesting, isn't it? Because we are here to talk about pretty much what we've just introduced ourselves. I suppose for those of you who've done Curator and Creator, one of our online programs talking all about your brand, our USP is very much this duo energy. The fact that Em and I are wildly different, even in our outfits. I complete her white dots, and she completes my white background. We complete each other in terms of we complete each other.
Complete me.
And I think we decided we wanted to talk about this a couple of weeks ago, and I had to find the voice note that Em left me, and you introduced it to me so well. Go on, you were talking about politics.
I was talking about politics. I hate politics as well. I never talk about politics. Ali played the voice message back to me this morning. I was like, did I say that? I don't remember saying that. I must have been channeling something. Sometimes when my ideas come to me, I feel like I channel them from like an outer source that comes into this little invisible antenna in my head, and it comes straight out of my mouth without me even realizing, which is really dangerous sometimes.
Really dangerous.
Probably sounds a bit dodgy as well, but I think I was channeling in that moment because I don't remember saying it. But when I listened back, I was like, oh, that's good. Actually, that's good stuff. So I think what I was noticing in the online industry, and obviously, my feed is full with, lots of inspiration from coaches and mentors in the industry. And what I was noticing is that it was almost like starting to mimic politics, where we were getting like a lot of the left wing and a lot of the right wing, where some people are all in and all like about the strategy. It's like strategy, 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 marketing, 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 marketing. And then on the other side, you've got people that are all about the energetics, all about the mindset, the manifestation and the miracles and the mindfulness. And they're over here championing. That's a weird word to say. Championing. You know what I mean? On this side of the fence. And I was like, what's actually very interesting, I think, about our partnership and the way that we work is what you get from me is over here on this side of the fence on the strategy, and then Ali is very much over here in terms of our teaching, in terms of where we bring our expertise into the business. But actually, as individuals ourselves and the way that we operate, we are both. We've got this, we've managed to create this blend, this very well balanced blend of masculine energy, which is very much the strategic doing part of how we operate in business, and this feminine energy of just being and flowing within the business. And we are very much, both of us have found our own balance of those two things that works for us, even though my role is very much in the masculine strategic part, and Ali, your role is very much on the feminine. We embrace both of those as individuals. And we've kind of had to find our own way in terms of what that balance looks like, because my default is definitely more on the do side of things. And Ali, I think it's safe to say you're much more focused on the energetic side of things, but you also obviously very well versed in the strategy as well. So that was our topic for today, is whose side are you on?
Whose side are you on? Are you on M side or my side?
And that's not a trick question, because actually we don't believe in being on either side. We actually believe that the most well-balanced, well-rounded entrepreneurs that do really well have understood and learned how to embrace both of these sides. They've got a really strong strategic plan in place, but they also know how to work that plan with their own energy and how they show up as individuals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well said.
Okay.
Well said. I think, yeah, and it's about finding your own way within that, isn't it? It's like, I'm not in nature, and my husband would definitely say I'm not particularly, I don't plan, I've got no structure, but I do feel supported by having some elements of structure, and that's probably why I'm in partnership with you. That's probably why I married him, because somebody created that structure for me. Yeah. And having a structure, I have felt, has allowed me to flow and be more creative and be more myself in those moments. I feel, you know, what do they say? You want to have 2 feet firmly planted on the ground and your head in the clouds. It's about having both. If you don't have your feet on the ground, if you're not firmly anchored, rooted in a plan or a strategy, you can be floating around everywhere. And I think that's what we wanted to talk about, wasn't it, really? If you're too much of one and not enough of the other, what might that look like? So I suppose if you are too much in your feminine flow and you have absolutely no structure, no direction, this is almost like a car going round and round and round and round and round and round and round about, and you just get totally frustrated. Or you're like a magpie looking at shiny objects, and you're darting and darting and darting and darting, and never actually ever giving any kind of plan or strategy or thought enough time to actually ground itself in its roots to see if it works or not. And I think what's the symptom of that, Em? What do we see when we work with clients or people who are like that? It can be a lot of frustration. It can be a lot of apathy. You can potentially give up because nothing's working. Just, what did you say? You said a really great line. It's like you're sitting there meditating for money, and it doesn't come when you just meditate for money.
Yeah, I think I did say that. But you know, meant with a lot of love there, because I think don't get me wrong, like I'm a big fan of meditation, I'm a big fan of manifestation, like I understand the importance of these things, but that alone, you cannot sit in meditation and manifest money. There has to be some action on the back end of that.
It's moving to meet it, isn't it?
Yes.
You can call it in, you can believe in it, but you've got to move towards it. You've got to move first. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So it's what else, if I'm thinking like, okay, what are the symptoms then in business if you're too much in the feminine without the masculine? I think, yes, there's a lot of lack of direction, a lot of lack of clarity, which then leads to frustration. Like it's probably then showing up in like jumping a bit like you said, like jumping from one thing to a next, like constantly just consuming, like jumping into, you know, that thing and then jumping off to that thing, jumping off to that. Do you know what I mean? Like almost like the next shine. You're always looking for the next shiny object because you're not actually allowing the focus to land on one thing and work in that one area and allow it the time to like percolate and work its way out and to see the results. It's like if I don't see the result like that, I'm going to jump to the next thing, and just end up doing this ping the whole time. And ultimately I think the feeling is nothing's working. That would be the symptom, would be nothing is working. That's how you would be feeling if you're too much in the feminine. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And it's and then you might end up losing faith, which is one of the biggest things that you need to keep.
Yeah, and that's like the saddest thing is when you feel like nothing's working, questioning, and then what that usually looks like is self-doubting.
Yeah, I think if also maybe from self-reflection, you can often start to say yes to too much when you're in your flow because you've got no boundaries and no structure. So you're just like a yes. You're people pleasing. You never turn anything away because you haven't got this direction of where you want to go. So you just take on everything. So you can burn out that way as well.
And actually, now that you mention that, the other thing that I would say is a real typical symptom of that is feeling like you never have enough time, feeling like your relationship with time. It's like, you look at your diary and like, in theory, I've got everything mapped out. In practice, I never get anything done. And I think that's where the too much flow can start to become counterproductive, is when you're flowing and then, oh shit, is that the time? Oh dear, haven't had time to do that today. That didn't get done. And that can be incredibly frustrating because you just feel like you're not being productive or progressing anywhere.
Yeah. You feel like you're in flow, but you've got trapped in the weeds at the side. So you haven't gone anywhere.
Yes.
Okay. So how about the other way, if you're too much in your masculine, if you're too structured, if you've got too much strategy, what can that feel like? What are the symptoms of that in business?
I feel like that can feel like force. Like I'm forcing things to happen because I'm ticking things off my list. It's like I've got this tick list. I'm going to do this, tick. I'm going to do this, tick. But everything feels forced. So it's like, I know I've got to write a social media post. Like my feeling is, I know I should write that social media post.
Yeah.
I've got to do that. But nothing's coming. I'm not feeling creative. I can't get my words out. Like nothing feels inspirational in that moment. Like everything you write feels like, oh, that's boring. No one's going to give a shit about that, because you're sitting at your laptop and you're trying to force something to happen in the moment because you feel it has to. And that actually cuts the creativity off at the source.
Yeah, the same would go for programs. If you're trying to write a program, whether that be group or private or anything, you know, if I've got to do this, I should do this, I have to do this. And interesting, actually, you saying being sat at your desk, it's like if you're saying, right, I need to be at my desk between 10 and 3, then I'm working, that can also stop your flow and your creativity because you're just staring at a blank screen.
Yeah.
That can feel, I think some of the symptoms of the too much structure can also leave you inflexible. So if things happen, but why is this not working? Because I mentioned it, like if we take how you helped me in lockdown, if we'd been so structured in what we were doing and then a pandemic hit, I would have gone completely the wrong direction. It's about allowing yourself to have that freedom of movement to say, well, given everything's changed around me, that's no longer working, so let's change. So it's that having that ability, you're going in the wrong direction, and then that's frustration again, isn't it, because it's not working in this environment.
Yeah. I also feel like it shows up like symptomatically in times when technically you're not working, like your time off, your weekends, your evenings, your downtime, as feeling guilty that you should be doing more for your business.
Okay,
And because it's like, right, well, I've done this and I've done this and I've done this and I've ticked everything off my list, but now nothing's happening. I'm trying to force it to happen. You're sitting there questioning, why hasn't anybody bought this yet? Why hasn't anybody bought this yet? I need to do more. I need to do more. I need to do more. And it eats into your time out, because you can't then lean back and relax and have the faith that you've done enough.
So once again, we're talking about burnout and frustration, aren't we? In both sides, really.
Yeah.
On either side. So what's the answer, Em? Balance the two.
I think it's awareness of recognizing, first of all, maybe which side of the fence you might be leaning too much towards, like understanding that you'll probably have got a natural affinity for one over the other. Like, I know that my whole life I probably operated in masculine energy until I understood that there was an alternative where it got to feel really good. I was all about the doing, all about ticking off the list, all about, must do more. So I think awareness of where your natural affinity is, because having that consciousness to say, okay, I know that I'm rooted in masculine energy most of the time, so I need to be intentional then about bringing more feminine flow in. That for me is what's helped me. I mean, from your perspective, Ali, your affinity is more on the feminine side. So how do you then bring in more masculine?
I think maybe step back. So if I was in corporate for, nearly 2 decades, where everything was incredibly structured, and I was a program lead, I ran programs, and we had so much structure in terms of development and the IT stuff. It was like everything was scheduled down to the last second, and then my life was scheduled down to the last second, because I had to get the kids from nursery, and then I had to have supper ready, and then I had to be back on calls with America. So everything was incredibly structured, which felt so alien and forced to me, but that was the only way I was ever going to operate. So that when I did burn out and when I did walk away from my corporate life, I almost went completely the other way, which was like, whoa, I don't want any structure at all, and I'm just going to do absolutely nothing. But actually,
I was a rebel.
In that, in some ways, came my magic, because then that was when I refound myself. I refound my flow. I refound my soul. I refound my purpose, and that's when my fizziness started. But because I was so excited about what I was doing and I rebelled against the whole structure, I was like balloon flying around in the air with no direction, until you anchored me in with why I came to work with you. So that, as we've talked about before, it's like you created the champagne glass for my fizz to flow and be contained and actually have that magic. So I think we've talked about it before, haven't we, with the balance of the two is really having that action and that knowledge and that strategy, and then coupling it with the energy of who you're being and the flow that you bring everything to, that beautiful flow of energetics flow. And then that's what's created the magic. So this beautiful blend, I think we've both come at it from different angles and found our own balance. And then that's what we've done and put into the Limitless CEO, which is very much about understanding that you need equal measures of both. And when I say equal measures, it's got to be that equal measure for the individual, for that business, for that phase of their life. And it's about having that fluidity, but still being anchored in that structure is so important. And that's why I believe we work so well together, for us, for our clients.
Yeah, and obviously we have, we're blessed with the fact that we have a partnership where, I do bring, that masculine energy into our partnership and the strategy and structure, and you bring in the energetics and the mindsets, and really align us and keep us aligned with the strategy.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate in that respect, but also, where was I going with that? I think you don't need to be in a partnership. I'm saying in order to do that, you can, as an individual, embrace those two sides of you. And actually, that's what we do teach our clients to do. As an individual, like, I'm going to teach you the strategy, Ali's going to teach you the energetics, and you embrace both parts of that as an individual. Because we certainly have had to do that as individuals, even though we have, we have the strategy and the energetics individually, and we bring together in a partnership. As individuals, we have also had to find our own balance of masculine and feminine energy within ourselves. as well.
And in our entire lives. Let's not forget we have a whole world outside of the Limitless CEO. There's, you know, life going on as well. So it's about how do we make sure that we use the same techniques within that as well.
Yeah, there's more chaos going on outside with kids and husbands and
all
houses and
everything.
stuff. Anyway.
So I suppose today it was a brief riff on a topic that's incredibly powerful, incredibly close to our hearts, that we wanted to share and to talk about, but also really just an invitation for you all to go away and do a really honest reflection of yourself and a really honest reflection of your business. Are you being too much in your flow and just wishing and hoping and believing and meditating on the fact that money's going to come in, to quote
meditating money
or are you being too much in your masculine? Are you doing too much? Are you forcing, like Em said, you checklisting everything without allowing yourself to be in flow, to be in creativity, and then just thinking about how can you bring in a bit more of the other, of what you're not being? How can you?
I'd love to know, actually, if anyone's watching live right now, or if you're just catching this on the replay, your instinct will probably be right on this. So maybe just let us know in the comments instinctively when we ask that question, whose side are you on?
Yeah, M's on mine.
Do you feel like you're more in that masculine, must do more, or are you maybe leant back a little bit too far,
thinking why is nothing happening?
To be a little more action?
Yeah.
As Ali said, action and energy equals magic.
And I think that's really important to realize that you can have one or the other and do okay. If you want the real magic, if you want the real results, if you want that supercharge in your business, it's really important that you embrace the two together at the same time, not just do and then and be and do and be. It's about doing and being at the same time, bringing that beautiful action with the energy into the action that's going to create that powerful kind of magnetism in your business and in your life.
It's the doobie doobie doobie.
Oh, the doobie 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 dance. We often talk about the dance of the masculine and the feminine.
It's the doobie doobie dance. Everybody do the doobie doobie.
You heard it here first. Ladies, an amazing weekend. Thank you for joining us for brunch today. A little riff. We will be back, no doubt, next week with some more magic.
Love that. Bye, ladies.
Bye.